everybody, it's Dana, and welcome back to day 3 of the holiday card series for 2024. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of better pressing today. So I'm using an all-to-new Regal Wreath. I absolutely love this. It's super easy to use this better press because the all-to-new package has a guide to show you how to layer this up. So this is the first time I'm actually seeing the transfer sheet that shows you how everything is lined up. You have like a green line, a red line, a blue line, and that helps assist you to lay up all of these pieces in order to create this gorgeous wreath. I absolutely love this design, and I have yet to use a layering Betterpress set, but I'm pretty sure with the layering guide, we're going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my platform for my Betterpress, and I'm going to be using the marks on here that are for A2 card. So I am using the cotton panels that were suggested from Spellbinders to use with this system. Now, I have seen other people use other cardstock, but since I'm fairly new to this, I have used a Betterpress before, but I'm still learning. So I'm still trying to figure out those papers that are like, that might work better than others. So today I'm just going to stick with the Spellbinder brand cotton card panels. Now I am going to tape these down with a little bit of easy tape here, so this does not shift when it comes to lining up my Betterpress. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and set my paper aside, and then we're going to work on the press part itself. So I went ahead and I put the transparency sheet on there, and that's going to be my guideline on how to layer up my cards. I feel it's probably best to put a little bit of tape on here so that this transparency doesn't shift. And now I can go ahead and start lining everything up. So I can see the outline of the wreath. So I'm going to go ahead and place my wreath down. And again, this seems to be super easy to do. I kind of tested it earlier before I started the video, and I would tell you, I don't think anybody's going to be having a hard time using this system because you do have that transparency to show you how to line everything up. It is handy to have a little pick tool as well. So I do have some colors of ink here from All to New, and I'm going to be doing 2 monochromatic cards today. So for my gray colors, it's Morning Frost, Evening Gray, Moon Rock, and Lava Rock. So I am starting out with the lightest color here. And I just kind of want to make sure I tap that around all the way around this wreath just to make sure that I get good coverage. Now, remember, I said we're going to be doing the Betterpress today with a monochromatic color palette. And I wanted to do some grays and some browns. Now, since I have everything inked up, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. This is from Spellbinders. And I'll go ahead and run my Betterpress plate through it. And this is going to allow that plate to almost do like a letterpress into that cotton panel. And like I said before, I've used a Betterpress before, and every time I use it, I am more and more happily surprised about how fantastic this system is. So I have this wreath, but in my opinion, I need this to be a tad bit darker. So I'm going to go back in and re-ink it with the evening gray. Now, I could have left it very light like that, but I felt like it was just a little bit too light for my liking. So because I don't have to move anything or shift anything around, all I have to do is come in, tap on the new color that I want, and then I can go ahead and send this right back through my machine. So let me know in the comments below if you have ever used the Betterpress and tell me what you think about it. I've had it for quite some time, and to be honest, I have not used it a lot, but the more I started playing with it, the more it became a little bit more comfortable. And now I'm like down the rabbit hole of better press plates. So as I flip this over, I like the darker shade of this. So as you can see, we're easily building up this wreath here. So now I just need to go ahead and remove my wreath. I can just slide it out of the way. And then the lines that are on here are going to help me line up the leaves and the flowers of my wreath. So I can go ahead and pull these off and line these up as well. So you're going to line your leaves up on the blue area that's diagrammed out here on the transparency. And then I'm going to use the red area to line up my flowers. So as you can see, the markings are there for me. It makes it super, super easy for me to line everything up. Again, this is the first time I believe I've done like a layering Betterpress set, and it's super easy to do. I mean, you really cannot mess this up. Now, if your die or your Betterpress plate happens to shift, you can gently push it back in place with either like your finger, but I like to use my pokey tool just to kind of slide it into place. And I do make sure just to clean up any of that extra ink. I don't know if when it presses, it will actually get into the paper, but I just decided to, make sure I kept things neat. So I didn't have to, press this and then realize I have ink all over my card panel. So I am going to go ahead and grab my little black handy towel that I have here from Simon Says Stamp. I'm going to clean up that ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and press this into that paper. And you're going to see just how easy this is to build up this wreath. So once again, I have my plate flipped upside down that has my paper on it. And then I can go ahead and run this back through my die cutting machine. And we are already creating something so beautiful. Now, I would tell you, this is a perfect opportunity to mass produce your cards. I'm a big, big fan of mass producing cards during the holidays and using products that are really, really easy to use. So you can see here how I'm building up this wreath, and all I have to do at this point is rotate those plates to the other side. So I'm going to take the leaves and put them on the right, and I'm going to take the flowers and put them on the left. Again, lining up with the coordinating colors. And it's very, very easy. You can see exactly where your plates are going to be. And again, if they shift just a little bit, it's okay. You can just slide them back into place before you ever bring your paper over to run it through the machine. All right, I went ahead and inked up those plates again and ran that through my machine. And when I flip this over, you're just going to see how gorgeous this is. Look how beautiful this looks. This is going to make a fantastic holiday card. Now, remember I said I was going to be making 2 cards today. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my wreath back down, and I'm going to follow the same exact steps that I did earlier. So for my colors today, I'm going to be using Sand Dunes, Rocky Shores, Mocha, and Espresso. And I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm laying down my cardstock, right lined up with my A2 markings on my plate. I will go ahead and ink up my wreath because that's the biggest piece. And I'm going to start this time with using I believe I started with the medium color, which is the Rocky Shores. Again, I'm just going around, tap, 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 making sure I get a good amount of color down. And again, if anything shifts, this is the time to fix it before you run it through the machine. So I have all my inking done. I can go ahead and run this through my machine. And then we're going to get that first base of our wreath again. But this time we're going to have it in this gorgeous brown shades. So if you guys are new here, thank you so much for joining me for the 2024 holiday card season. I'm so happy to have you with me. If you missed any of the years that I have been doing this, they will be linked down below. And I will also have photos over on my blog, a little bit of close-up photos on this, but I will also have all the products that I use linked below. By you guys using those affiliate links, it really does help me out by continuously being able to bring things to this channel to share my inspiration with you. So I greatly appreciate you using those affiliate links. Now, don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot of people that come back to watch my videos, but I see that you aren't subscribed. So make sure to subscribe so you're going to find me every time I have a new video up. All right, I'm putting on my two darkest colors. I'm doing my mocha and my espresso, and the lighter brown is going to be on my flowers, and the darker brown are going to be on my leaves. Now it's time to do the same thing. I can run this through my die cutting machine and look how gorgeous this is. So as you can see, this is not really taking me long to get these done. And you can do this in any monochromatic colors. If you wanted to do blues or red or purple, that would be absolutely gorgeous. Or if you wanted to do a traditional wreath with greens and reds, that will be gorgeous as well. Every time I do this card series, I try to think outside the box of what a normal holiday card would look like. And by switching up colors and making cards monochromatic, it really does give a different vibe to your cards. And sometimes that's what we need. If we make a lot of traditional cards, especially if we're doing Christmas cards throughout the year, sometimes you just got to kind of break it up. And by doing a monochromatic card, you're never going to fail on the color palette because it's a monochromatic, it's going to be seamless in its color. All right, you can go ahead and run this one through, and then we're going to reveal this gorgeous wreath in all of these shades of brown. I absolutely love these two cards. All right, now the stamp or the Betterpress set comes with two sentiments. So I'm going to just grab one of the sentiments. Again, I can just place that right in the middle of my wreath. Now this part doesn't have like an outline for you to lay your sentiment down, but you can kind of eyeball whatever sentiment you're going to use to be right in the middle of your wreath. It's really not hard to put in those sentiments. Even if you wanted to forgo letter pressing in the sentiment and leaving it to stamp that in, those would be gorgeous just as well. So I went ahead and I finished up my brown one. Now I'm going to come back in to do this gorgeous gray. I'm not quite sure which one is my favorite, but I'm really, really leaning towards this gray. I just like that color palette that Altanu afforded me by using, these shades of grays that match. And I just feel like having this simple color palette really allowed me to stretch my cards for this year. So, all right, last time I can go ahead and run this through and then perfectly have my sentiment right in the middle. All right, now it's time to go ahead and put our cards together. So for my card bases, I did want to pull in some gray cardstock as well as some brown cardstock. Again, I will list all the products that I use for these cards or these two cards in the description box below. But again, I'm keeping that color palette very, very simple by continuously just using those grays and those browns. And by having really stunning monochromatic cards, these can be cards that go to females as well as male recipients. So remember, if we're sending out a lot of cards and we know they're going to be going to the male friends and family members in your life as well as the female ones, if you make monochromatic cards, it's very, very simple just to hand them out to whomever. So by keeping the color palette really clean and simple, this is a fast way to mass produce your holiday cards and get them in the mail on time for them to show up before Christmas. Now I have my bases done here, and now I'm just going to pop up my centers. And I want to show you something with this foam tape I'm going to use. So I've had this 3M foam tape for quite some time, and it's actually started to yellow, but it has not affected the stickiness of this tape. So I think somewhere I saw a question when I was watching a live on, maybe it was Christina's channel. What happens when you have like tape like this that actually starts to yellow? Mine is still very, very tacky. And again, I have this roll kind of set near the window in my craft room. So I'm not sure if that's why it kind of turned colors or the fact that I had not been using it for a while, but it has not removed any of its sticking power whatsoever. I always like to use a little bit of glue when I'm putting down anything that has foam tape on it, so I have a little bit of wiggle room. This is not for the purpose to make this stick any better because even though it's yellowed, it still is very, very tacky. I can go ahead and press this one down and look how beautiful this card is. This Betterpress monochromatic look is absolutely gorgeous. And again, it looks like your card is letterpress. And I think that's very, very impressive when you're sending out your holiday cards because people get to feel your card and realize that, oh, wow, this design is actually embedded into the paper. And that's what makes this Betterpress system, in my opinion, like a game changer in my craft room. I think it's going to be a tool that I'm going to reach for more and more often now because I'm starting to get very, very comfortable with this machine. All right, now I can go ahead and put down this gray one. I mean, and just look how gorgeous this is. Absolutely stunning. Now, I did want to finish off both of the cards with just a few gems. So I'm going to put these brownie color gems on here, and I'm just going to place them in the center of the flowers. Now, you do not have to do this. This is just one of those things I like to do. But just by adding just these little finishing touches, I think I mentioned this in my first video, adding these little finishing touches really does make your card stand out. And don't forget, I'm also going to be sharing holiday cards that might not be here on YouTube. They'll be posted over on my blog or they'll be posted on my Instagram account. And those links will be at the end of this video. So I'm just going to put a few of these down here. And this is such a, I think it's called champagne. But again, I'll post everything below. But these are one of the prettiest like iridescent champagne baubles that I have seen ever. Now for this one here, I am going to come in with a satin gray for this one. Again, keeping it very soft. And again, I'm not adding like a lot of sequins that's very flashy or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I add a little bit of a something something to just finish off these cards nicely. But again, that's a step that you can totally omit if you do not want to do that. So again, I'm just putting these little baubles right in the center of the flowers. And this is going to actually wrap up today's video. I really hope I inspired you guys that if you do not have this Betterpress machine yet, put it on your Christmas list because I do feel like this would be something you would totally love playing with. It's super, super easy to use, as you can see in these two cards here, and it's really, really fun to use as well. All right, everybody, that is going to wrap up day 3. And just look how gorgeous these cards are. And you guys, oh, they're just stunning. I don't know. I keep saying it all the time, but I don't know. This might be my favorite. We will see by the time the series is over with. All right, everybody, here's all my social media links for you guys to follow me. And I will see you guys in another video soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.